Hello there, how are you? Avi to say I do. I do. I do. Oh, that was a good one. Juice! Welcome back to our Stupid Rex of Corbin.
I'm Rick. Did you hurt your hand?
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter for juicy content. Thank you for Patreon. Follow us to the subscribe like button. Today we have another food video, and this is how Indian Master Chef makes dosa, idlis, and more.
Oh my, dosa and idli and more.
Oh my,
Dosas and idli.
Bon appetit.
Oh yeah. You know we like channels that start with the word bone.
Let's just get into this.
I know it's technically bon. Bon appetit.
No, it's bon appetit. Your mom had an appetite for some bone.
Yeah. Judd Apatow's nipple is the bon appetit.
I'm the executive chef and partner at Sema in New York City.
Oh, look at that.
Today we're going to turn all these ingredients into 5 different types of rice and lentil-based Southern Indian dishes.
And make us all very hungry in the process.
India has one of the oldest culture and culinary tradition in the world. Some of the dishes that we are going to be making today has been made for hundreds and hundreds of years. The first thing we're going to do is make the batter for gunpowder.
Ooh, dosa. I made that.
This is rice, that's lentils.
Probably not as good as he does.
It's like a thin crepe.
Gunpowder dosa?
Fermented rice and lentil batter. At Sema, we're trying to cook the food that most of the Western countries have not seen so far.
It was almost interstellar for a second.
Chicken tikka masala and
It did. That's why I turned my head to the music.
Today are Southern Indian comfort food. When someone comes to a restaurant, they should feel like, oh, this is exactly how I grew up eating it. These are the dishes that my mom and grandma used
They
to
just
make for
sped
me.
it up
I
because
just
you have to
want
let that
bring
soak
back
for like
childhood memories.
12 hours.
So I'm going to add the rice first because it's going to take a little longer to get blend. You can find dosas in every single households and even in streets in India too. We grow a lot of rices in Southern India. So that's why most of our dishes consist of rice and lentils. When it's halfway done, then I'll add the lentils. You make sure you don't blend them too much. You just make sure that it has a little bit of grainy texture. As a kid, I always helping my mom in the kitchen. So I think I was in the 8th grade or something when I was making my first dosas. I ruined it so bad. Like it took me a while to practice it.
That's not a surprise.
I would have made at least like 50,000 of dosas. At least you have to let it be in the room temperature for minimum 6 hours. Once it's fermented, then dosas ready to make. If you make it too liquid, it's very hard to make dosas. So you have to be very careful with the consistency. Kind of like a pancake kind of consistency. The batter is ready. Now it's a time to make dosas. So tawa is like iron girdle. When you sprinkle the water, you can see the sizzling. So that means it has a right down temperature. Just pour a little batter. Just spread them as thin as possible. That's a stainless steel cup. It's called katori. That's a cup that I use to spread the dosa batter on the girdle.
It's not as easy as he's making it look.
Yeah.
If you make it too thick, it's like a pancake.
Sprinkle some gunpowder. So gunpowder is actually,
And yes, the kind you have in the cabinet in Texas closets.
which is a ground lentils and chilies. And add the potatoes in the middle. Basically, it's potatoes which has like
It is.
seeds and ginger.
That's
red chilies,
breakfast
and
doesn't
lentils,
get any better than that.
peas. You just mix all the spices and potatoes together, then you get a very, very aromatic, fragrant spiced potatoes.
My
And
word.
then you can just fold them any preferable shape that you want.
It looks like you've made 50,000 of these.
So it stays hard.
Wow.
Dosa is enjoyable when it's hot and crispy.
Yep.
Let's start plating it.
First toast we had in the video was all limp.
You can eat them with any chutneys. At Sema, we actually serve the gunpowder dosa with sambar and tomatoes and coconut chutneys. Now we're done with dosas. It's a time to make uttapam now. Uttapam is a thick pancake which is made out of fermented rice and lentil batter. It is the same batter as dosa actually. It's just the thickness of the dosa and uttapam is different. So I'm just going to take like 3/4 of the batter. I'm trying not to spread it as thin as like how I did for dosas. So it has some like kind of pancake kind of thickness. So traditionally we make uttapam with onions and tomatoes and chilies and cilantros. You can use any types of vegetables that you like. Also some gunpowders. Actually, I took this gunpowder recipe from my sister. Every household makes a different variations. It's the same ingredients, but the proportions and the ratios are a little different. Basically, I don't want to see any batter. I just want to like fill up the
Dang.
uttapam with all the vegetables.
Look how full that is.
We try to keep the uttapam a little bit like seasonally. We try to season vegetables.
that looks good.
Looks like a pizza. I think we made these on.
It looks like a Mexican pizza.
Even get both sides.
I think we made these on my channel. Not this well.
I mean, that looks like a pancake, but the other side of it reminded me of a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell.
Nicely inside. You can also make the uttapam without vegetables, which has the same texture as uttapam, and then they call dosa. You just have to wait at least like a couple of minutes to make sure you get the golden color. It comes with experience. If you leave it too long, it's gonna get burnt. So you have to make sure in the right time. Or if you flip it too early, also the vegetable won't stick to uttapam. So you have to make sure you take the right time.
Looks incredible.
Whew.
Wow.
I also serve the uttapam with sambar and tomato coconut chutneys.
My word.
That looks incredible.
Glorious.
Let's make the idli next.
I made
We need
Idli.
steamed rice cake. We would need rice and lentils to make the batter. But to make the idli, we need a different types of rice, which is idli rice. It's a very tiny, short-grained rice.
Interesting.
We're not gonna add fenugreek
So
seeds
it's its
to
own
that.
particular
It's
rice.
Same exact, pretty much procedure as dosa batter.
You gotta let it
we're gonna
soak for a
soak
billion
the
hours.
Lentils and fenugreek seeds, minimum 6 hours.
Yep.
Idli is typically a breakfast dish, but I would eat like 3 times a day. Like it's idlis are known
Sure, why
for
not?
being really soft. To make it soft, you have
I
to
know
have
some guys who are like that.
ratio of the rice and lentils. Fenugreek seeds gives nice flavor to the batter. Once the rice and lentils been soaked, and then we're gonna rinse them off. Then we're just gonna blend it. We're gonna add a little water, blend it. Once lentils is blended halfway through, then you add rice. Now I'm going to blend the rice and dal. Dal is a name for lentils. You can add the fenugreek seeds when you add the lentils. Some people say that adding salt before the fermentation will slow down the fermentation. I feel like yes, salt may add a little different, but the very important thing is room temperature play a major role in the fermentation. Now the batter is blended. I'm going to set it aside to ferment. So I just want to make sure the idli doesn't get stick in the pan. So I use the muslin cloth. I sprinkle a little bit of water, then add the batter to the
Did you
pan.
do that?
I don't think so.
People have been making idlis for years. We don't know exactly.
But I have one of
when
these
they
little
start making it, but I can say for
makers,
sure it's
the
been like
little
one of the
molds.
oldest food on the planet. Every household will have the idli steamer, paniyaram chatti, and dosa grill. Every household will have it. The idli batter may rise when it's cooked. So you just add like right amount of batter to just fill up the hole. When you add too much, it's going to change the shape.
Unless I'm wrong, most of these are South Indian
We are
dishes.
steaming the idli, so we don't really need too much water. Just enough
It's a
to get the
common as a breakfast thing. Do you make the mix the night before, or does that mean it's fermenting too long?
Cook about like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
You can do it the night before.
So once
We
it's
did.
cooked,
Yeah.
turn the flame off. Just let it rest for like few more minutes, so it will cook all the way through.
We
And
filmed,
whistle once the
start of it
steamer
at
is
night,
ready. That
let
means
it
it's
ferment
indication
overnight.
that your
Right.
idli is steamed.
came back in the morning.
So I just want to make sure the idli is cooked all the way through. So I just want to test it before I remove from the steamer. So if anything stuck to the skewer, I know it's not cooked enough, then we have to cook it again. The skewer is clean, so I know it's cooked. Before you demold it, you're going to sprinkle some water to make sure the idli is not sticking to the pan. And then remove the muslin cloth.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh, those
If you go
look
to restaurants,
perfect.
We used to have a huge idli steamer where you could make like at least 120 idlis at the same time. Traditionally, they serve them with sambar and tomatoes and coconut
I can
chutneys.
feel it.
And you can
You
also
had
be
one?
eaten with
Yeah.
any types
Yeah.
of gravies.
Where'd you have it?
You can eat them with
Oh, no, you had it in South
In
India.
South India,
Delhi.
yeah.
Gravies and any gravies.
Where we went
You
first
go
to Delhi.
very well with
That's right.
Yeah.
Any types of gravies.
I remember now.
Next, we'll make paniyaram. So paniyaram is a very popular South Indian snack, or like it can be a breakfast item, which is made out of either idli batter or dosa batter. Paniyaram is actually one of my favorite snack. To make the paniyaram batter, I took some idli batter, And I added some chopped onions, chopped green chilies, chopped curry leaves, some grated coconut, and some mustard seeds, and asafoetida. Asafoetida is one of the spices that you can find a lot in Indian cooking. And some chopped ginger and red chilies tadaka. Also
What is that?
tempering, which is mustard seeds and red chilies and curry
wow.
leaves. You just mix all the ingredients together with the idli batter. Mix, mix, mix. I also like to add a little cilantro. To make the paniyaram,
You guys don't call it
use
cilantro.
paniyaram chatti, which is like a cast iron pan. The pan has to be hot enough to get the golden color. If it is too hot, it will burn. If it is too low, you won't get the golden color. It is definitely popular in southern India. You can find in all like southern Indian homes, in the restaurants or in the street food. Like you can find it everywhere. Every time my mom used to make it, she always woke us up in the morning when she started cooking it because she wants to make sure we sit right next to the stove when paniyaram comes out of the pan. She wants to make sure we eat them when it's hot and fresh. I'm just going to use a skewer to flip it so that way it cooked all the way through.
That looks tasty. Woo!
Every southern Indian house will have the paniyaram pan and also dosa pan.
Oh man, look like little hush
Serving
puppies.
Paniyaram with spicy coconut chutney.
It's a nifty little serving plate there. Little.
That's how you
Bowl
make the
thing.
paniyaram.
Oh. Wow.
Now let's make the idiyappam.
Idiyappam.
Idiyappam is also called string hopper. It's basically a rice noodles. To make the idiyappam, we have to make the idiyappam dough first. The idiyappam dough is made out of rice flour, coconut milk, a little bit of water, and salt. So I know idiyappam, it's like a noodles. But we eat them with some vegetable stew or meat gravies, or you can even eat them as a sweet and coconut milk also. To make a dough, we have to make sure we mix all the ingredients together and then make the dough as tight as possible.
That's
Since
what she
we
said.
have to press them into noodles, it has to have that pasta dough texture. This is called idiyappam maker or idiyappam press.
Looks like a
So you have
cock
to
and
make
gun.
sure you spread them equally.
Wow.
I've not made these, but we've seen them before.
Many times, yeah.
It looks so
But not made. I don't remember seeing them
I don't think
like
we've
from
ever had
scratch.
them either, though.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had them.
So I'm using the same idli steamer to steam the idiyappam as well. Pretty much same technique that we did for the idlis. Add water to the steamer, then add the pressed noodles in the steamer, then steam it for about like...
Pressed noodles is a good name for a band.
Pressed noodle.
When I say noodles, so let's not expect like real noodles. So they're not going to like literally fall apart. Like they're going to stick together. Once the steam is coming up, that means the indication it's almost ready.
That's what she said.
Rice flour doesn't have the gluten like your wheat flour, so that's why it has a smooth consistency and smooth texture. You can eat this idiyappam with any vegetable stew or any aromatic gravies. Take a piece out of it and dip it in gravies and eat it.
Wow.
That's
Look,
how you make
everything
fried
looks perfect.
rice and lentil based southern Indian dishes.
Ugh.
My goodness.
I'm so hungry. Yeah.
Looked amazing.
Did it say South Indian on the title? It didn't. But
It didn't, but he said it
says-
several times.
Oh, you could let me know about the last two, but I think most of them were South Indian dishes, South Indian breakfast dishes.
I think so too.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know idli and dosa are especially.
And how many different shapes does dosa come in?
He says you can put it in whatever shape you'd like.
Yeah, I
He
just
says it's dealer's choice.
okay.
We've seen them in obviously rolled.
Those are
folded.
those. I love those. Those are just the easiest to handle and get all the bites and.
There's a Indian restaurant that I've wanted to do a video at. I just need to talk to them. It's
McDonald's.
not far from here, and I don't know how idlis are. But apparently, when I looked at the menu, they have an insanely different amount of kind of idlis. Some like normal, like masala dosas. But then they also have like chocolate dosa and a pizza dosa.
Interesting.
I was like, one, I don't
know that I want the flavorings of pizza in a dosa.
I know, but that's why it's interesting.
It is interesting, but just give me potato and I'm a happy man.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I mean, I would eat other ones as well, but boy, is that just...
It's a great dessert.
Oh,
breakfast.
Breakfast.
Great
It's
breakfast.
just with some filter coffee.
If any of you guys have had South Indian food in Delhi, man, you know what we're talking about.
You do.
You know what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Still find it so funny. People were so mad that was our first video in India.
Well, and I understand the disappointment that if we, for me, you know what it would be comparable to? I think it would be comparable to an Italian in Italy. Watching someone eat Italian food for the very first time in New York City and being told it's authentic Italian food. That would bother me if I was...
Maybe it is authentic, though.
No, it's not. New York Italian food is not authentic Italian.
Well, if you go to
It's New York Italian.
if you go to Olive Garden, it is.
It's authentic. Olive Garden. It's authentic to the extent that, yes, Italians were making the food there, and those Italians were from Italy. But no,
What if your grandma makes it?
That'd be interesting because my grandma on my mom's side has passed away, and my grandma on my dad's side doesn't make Italian food.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was it looked
Great video. Just
so hungry.
so fun to watch, and everything looked picture perfect.
I'm so hungry. I need to eat food.
Juice!